Hello and welcome to the first problem. Here is a CD rack, which is a rack that holds CDs, for those of you who don't know. One rack holds 25 CDs and David has 83 CDs. How many racks does he need? Well, you should know that because these numbers aren't too far apart, by estimating, he's only going to need a few CD racks. So I draw one CD rack, that only makes 25. Draw another one, he's still only got enough room for 50. Draw another one, still only got room for 75. Draw another one, he's got room for 100 CDs, so he's got enough for all his CDs, but he will have some left over, which is this space here. And this is where, if you're interrogating the bar model and making sure you really understand the problem and challenging yourself, you can ask yourself questions like, well, how many blank spaces has he got? How many more CDs can he fit in the rack before it's full? If we look at the second problem, very, very similar. 6 full racks of CDs, so you draw 6 full, and you should be able to work out from that bar model what the calculation is you need to work out how many CDs he's got altogether. Two problems here. We've got 3/4 of 15, so you draw your bar model. You've got 15 at the top. Quarters means it's divided into 4 because you've got 4 as your denominator, and you want 3/4. So you divide 15 by 4, put that number in those spaces, and then you want 3 of them. Second problem underneath, we've got David and his friends having a picnic. Each person will get 3 sandwiches. Here they are. 2 bananas and 1 packet of crisps. They have 45 sandwiches packed, so how many bananas do they pack? Now it's very similar to some of the problems we've had before with the fruit and the oranges in the fruit salad. So if we look at this, we've got 3 bananas here, because that's each person. If we multiply it by a number, we'll have 45 sandwiches. We know that they've got 45 sandwiches with them. And then, by the same logic then, I then multiply the number of bananas by the same number, and the number of packets of crisps. So we should know from our 3 times table, 3 times something is 45, or otherwise, we do 45, divide it by 3, will give us this number here, which should go here, and that will then be able to tell us how many bananas they took. Like the first question I said, you can start to interrogate the question a little bit, so you could ask things like, well, how many packets of crisps did they take? You could work out how many bananas they might have if they had a different number of people going on their picnic. Or perhaps you could change the question so you said, well, instead of having 45 sandwiches packed, what if they packed 90 sandwiches or 180 sandwiches or other suitable multiples? This is probably the problem that looks the most complicated, but again, hopefully when you draw the bar model, it turns out to be relatively simple. She's got 5 blocks all the same, and they're balanced on a scale, which means this side is the same as this side. In my experience, that's the bit that we sometimes don't quite understand with this problem. That when they're balanced, we've got these here, we've got 500 grams, and these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, and then we've got 800 grams on this side. So I'll draw my bar model. That's my 800 grams, that's my whole amount that I know what it is. And that is made up of 500 grams and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. Now I've actually drawn my bar model not quite accurately, because you should be able to know just by estimating that these 5 blocks actually weigh more than this 500 grams here. So really, my 5 blocks should be over here, and my 500 grams should be over here. But it doesn't really matter for the purposes of solving the problem. So we know that 500 grams is here. We should then be able to work out the missing part that makes up the rest of the 800 grams. And when we've done that and got a number in here, we should be able to divide it by 5, because there's 5 blocks, and that will give us the value of each block. So there's a few stages to doing it, but relatively simple calculations, and when you draw the bar model, hopefully it all becomes clear what you've got to do. Right, and then we're on to our last one here. We've got match each decimal to its equivalent fraction. And we've got a bar at the top, and we've got a bar at the bottom that I've drawn to try and help us. So we've got 1 in the top. If I split 1 4 ways, which makes me into quarters here and here, Well, if I think of it as money, I think of £1. If I split it into two ways, so I'll draw next a little bit. So these two will be worth 50p. So one of them is worth 25p or 0.25. That's 1/4 with 0.25 in. So 0.25 goes in each one. So then I should be able to work out what 0.25 goes with. And 0.75 is already done for you, so that would be 3/4. Down the bottom, I've got a different bar model to try and help me. I've divided it into tenths and divided it into fifths. So if I have £1, think of it as £1, divided by 10 pieces, that would give me how much? So what would a tenth be worth as a decimal? And then I've got fifths underneath, well that would be 2/10. And that should be able to help me with this and this one here. You might have an alternative way for doing this one, just by converting the fractions into decimals that you understand, like 2/5. You can turn that into tenths, and then once you've got 2/10, you should be able to use your place value to help you work out the answer. So this one isn't a perfect one for using the bar model, but if you're not quite sure of how to convert them, then it does give you a pictorial example of how to do it. And that's all of them for this week. Don't forget though that for the arithmetic homework sheet, you also might need to use the bar model to help you understand what to do. For example, when you get questions with the missing numbers like this, when the missing number isn't after the equal sign. For example here, where we've got a missing number, we divide it by 3 and we get 1738. So I can draw my missing number. I don't know what it is, but I do know that when I split it into 3 pieces, I will get 1738. So I get 1738 in here, I get 1738 in here. So I should know now that I can do 3 times 1738, and that will give me my answer to go in here. Hope that helps, and keep trying to use it for all the problems that you are stuck and struggling a little bit on what calculation it is you've got to do, and it'll hopefully guide you to the right calculation, which in turn will get you to be accurate with your answers. Good luck.